In Genesis chapter 5, verse 24, it reads, Enoch walked with God. The test of a man's religious life and character is not what he does in the exceptional moments of life, but what he does in the ordinary times. In the ordinary times when there is nothing tremendous or exciting on. The worth of a man is revealed in his attitude to ordinary things, when he is not before the footlights. If you want to look more on that, check out John chapter 1, verse 36. It is a painful business to get through into the stride of God. It means getting your second wind spiritually. In learning to walk with God, there is always the difficulty of getting into his stride. But when we have got into it, the only characteristic that manifests itself is the life of God. The individual man is lost sight of in his personal union with God, and the stride and the power of God alone are manifested. It is difficult to get into stride with God because when we start walking with him, we find he has outstripped us before we have taken 3 steps. He has different ways of doing things, and we have to be trained and disciplined into his ways. It was said of Jesus, he shall not fail nor be discouraged, because he never worked for his own individual standpoint, but always from the standpoint of his Father. And we have to learn to do the same. Spiritual truth is learned by atmosphere and not by intellectual reasoning. God's Spirit alters the atmosphere of our way of looking at things, and things begin to be possible which never were possible before. Getting into the stride of God means nothing less than union with himself. It takes a long time to get there, but keep at it. Don't give in because the pain is bad just now. Get on with it, and before long you will find you have a new vision and a new purpose. Let's talk about what we read so far. What does it look like to walk with God? It is not about performing single acts of spiritual prowess. Instead, it is living day by day according to the will of God. Walking with God is a lot like running a marathon. In order to be successful in the race, it is important to keep a steady pace. Any deviation from it will result in the runner losing ground and stumbling. Then the runner will have to begin the process of setting up a pace all over again, which can be a very long and tedious process. The pace that followers of God must take is the one set by God. It is a pace that demands total commitment from the runner, even to the point of sacrificing one's own personal interests. Yet if we keep at it, living our lives for God, obeying his commands faithfully, then an amazing thing happens. The desires of God become our desires. Following the will of God no longer feels like a challenge, but we do it as if it comes naturally to us, as natural as you would breathe. What's more, we do not mind this loss of individuality that happens when we are in stride with God, because walking with God is far worth the sacrifice. Because being with God is far more precious than any self-interest we have. Like running a marathon, walking with God is not easy. It takes a lot of dedication and sacrifice. Nevertheless, we mustn't let the pain stop us from following the Lord's path. The benefits to keeping at it are far worth it. Look at the example of Enoch that's mentioned in this verse from chapter 5 in Genesis. Because he walked with God, he didn't taste death. Instead, God took him up to heaven while he was still alive. That must have been some walk with God that Enoch did. Let's learn from his example. Let's get into stride with God's will, and we will reap the benefits and reap the reward. May God bless you.